Hey, Alex and Joe. We're going to take a little bit of time to step out of our weekly recap and go over a question that came up last Saturday at class, and we spent some time drilling it this week, and there was a couple questions about the drilling progression as it applies to this butterfly guard. Again, not what we worked on this week, but a lot of questions popped up nonetheless. So, there's a lot of techniques, a lot of sweeps, a lot of submissions, a lot of back takes from butterfly guard. But none of that matters if I don't understand some of the fundamental principles of the butterfly guard and I don't understand this drill sequence, especially as it relates to what we call active hooks. So as I'm seated in butterfly guard, the first thing I have to kind of understand is my hooks have to be active. We talked a lot about this Saturday. I can't just let these feet relax in here and expect my arms to do the work. No matter how good my position is, if my feet aren't active, Joe can go ahead and step right over, step right out, do whatever he wants to do. And because I have no connection, he has control of what's going on here. As soon as he starts to get around these feet, I don't care how good my grip is, go ahead and pass. As soon as he steps around these feet, man, my grip's awesome, but I've lost my butterfly guard. I must be active with these hooks. So, as I come and set into this thing, the first thing that has to happen is I take my laces and I get active connection with the inside of his quads or the back of his hamstrings if he'll allow it. The next thing that has to happen is these have to become sensitive enough to track. So before we even start utilizing our hands, just keeping these out so you can see, anytime Joe flares a leg, I need to be able to track with it. And again, my laces, you'll see my toes on the other side of his hamstrings, very active. I'm not passive down here just seeing what happens. I'm actively hooking that and providing just a little bit of resistance. If he comes back down with this leg, goes up with the other leg, I actively track that leg. Not only does this provide me some measure of control, it provides that connection so I understand what he's doing based on the sensitivity there. So go ahead and go down. We talk about how important these active hooks are. So to drill this, we start to put in a little freeform drill. I can't use my hands. My goal is to just maintain these active hooks. So Joe's going to start trying to walk around my butterfly guard, and I'm just going to hook and hook. And sometimes maybe I'll push a little based on what I'm feeling, or pull a little based on what I'm feeling. And I'm going to get used to using just these hooks. Is he going to pass occasionally with this drill? Of course he is. He's supposed to. I'm not using my hands. I'm just using my feet. But the better I get at this active hook concept, the more I can control his posture and do what I want it to do. So stage one is that. Let's go back down. Once you start getting good at that, we move into kind of a stage two, where now I get to utilize my grips, right? Now, eventually we're going to want to tighten up, but for right now I just want you to see what you can do with maintaining grip with this. And that's going to build in not just your butterfly guard, but your transition to other open guards. So now, as he goes to stand and pass and step over and do whatever he wants to do, I can go ahead and utilize guards. And I can use my hands. And as long as I'm using these active steps, you know, see how he steps back like that to kind of throw that leg out to pass, and I follow it, and I counter with this grip, and it becomes very hard for him to maintain his balance. So now I'm utilizing my grips and my active hooks. You learn a lot. The next thing we talk about as we move in, after my hooks, after my grips, is my head position. And kind of what happens with the butterfly guard is whoever has the lower head position generally is winning. So if my head's down here and I have underhooks, I'm in a better position to work this butterfly guard than he is. Conversely, he takes underhooks, his head's lower, go ahead and go. Even with active hooks, because of the pressure he's able to exert with this becomes hard for me to keep my posture. So, we're going to work a pummel drill. We start this very statically, just like a standing pummel, one over, one under, and we start this pummel drill. Except, instead of from standing, I'm from a butterfly guard. And I'm always working, trying to get my head lower, he's working, trying to get his head lower, and we work this drill kind of cooperatively to understand these underhooks. Because again, there's no secret to Jiu-jitsu. If there was, it would be the underhook. So I'm always fighting, especially in butterfly guard, for a lot of my sweeps for the underhook. Once I get good at that, now we integrate that with our active hook control. So Joe and I are going to start pummeling, and he's going to try and pass me as well, or step around, step back, go ahead and start working your feet. And so I'm working my underhook the whole time. I'm working control with my feet the whole time. I'm working my active hooks. And then as soon as we get the chance to close up, I'm working closing my posture, getting my head lower. Becomes a super effective drill. Now, when we start moving into technique, All those things I need to be successful with my technique are already built into the drill. I can learn this butterfly guard sweep of underhook, overhook, tuck under, and roll all day long. But if I don't understand the concept of active hooks, and if I don't understand where my head needs to be and the importance of the underhook, I'll never get that sweep. Now, when I start to add my tactics in, these principles will just guide me to success, right? So I can learn just the 1, 2, 3, 4, but if I don't understand these principles, I'll never successfully utilize butterfly guard. I'll never successfully utilize butterfly guard, right? And it's this drill sequence that makes all that possible. So, Alex and Jill walking through that. I know a couple people had questions about that sequence. There you go. We'll see you.